Yes, my friends, buckle up, because what we're diving into today isn't just off-season smoke. It's a full-blown firestorm started by Howie Roseman himself. Coming straight from the owners and GM's meetings in Florida, this isn't about draft dreams or off-season nonsense. This is about the real moves happening behind closed doors, decisions that are actively reshaping the very soul of this Philadelphia Eagles roster. Today, without wasting any time, I'm going to tell you all about it. But first, make sure you hit that like button if you agree with me that Howie Roseman is an excellent general manager. Man, Howie is way above average, and we're lucky to have him leading the Eagles. He makes some decisions that make me think, this guy is a genius. I have no doubt that we will indeed make it to another Super Bowl this year. If possible, write it like this: Go Eagles! Let's go to the Super Bowl again. Now let's talk about the latest developments. Let's start with the Dallas Goedert situation, because this is one that will shake up the link. So here's the deal. While Roseman gave his usual corporate polite response about Dallas being a tremendous player in person, actions speak louder than words. And the Eagles front office isn't just whispering, they're shouting that change is coming at the tight end position. 4 new tight ends brought in, 2 off-season signings, 2 others who could actually compete for snaps this year. That's not depth, it's preparation for life without Goedert. And let's not forget the most telling sign. Dallas has been given the green light to seek a trade partner. Now think about this. Dallas Goedert, no guaranteed money left, turning 30 and heading into a contract year. Howie's already thinking ahead. They don't want to be left scrambling next offseason. And if they can scoop up even a 4th-rounder for him, that's a win in their eyes. They're not going to tell us this outright, but the writing's on the wall. And if that trade goes down before the draft, don't be surprised if tight end suddenly becomes a top priority. Because if Dallas is out, you're looking at Kylen Granson potentially stepping in as your TE1. And honestly, he might already be better than Grant Calcaterra. But here's the kicker. Teams around the league are hesitant. Why? Because of Goedert's injury history. Missing 5 to 8 games a year makes GMs nervous, and rightfully so. Still, when healthy, the guy produces. He was clutch during the playoff run and made critical plays in the Super Bowl. But it's not about the past anymore. It's about where this team is heading, and the front office clearly believes it's time to start grooming the next guy up. And then there's the other bombshell, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. If there was ever a move that felt like a gut punch to this fan base, it was letting him go. The guy embodied the edge, the swagger, the tenacity that's defined Eagles' defense. You don't just replace that overnight. But Howie finally broke his silence on the move, and it's deeper than just cap space. It's about the long-term vision of this team. Howie laid it out with a kind of brutal honesty you don't often hear. 8 players making over $15 million a year, and 8 starters from recent drafts with 0 long-term deals. That's a future financial bomb waiting to explode if not handled right. Howie's not trying to repeat the mistakes of the post-2017 Super Bowl era, where loyalty turned into dead weight and the cap got strangled under bloated contracts. This time, it's about sustainable success, youth, flexibility, draft capital. That's the new currency. And if Vic Fangio, who clearly has serious pull now, says he's good with guys like Sidney Brown or maybe even has eyes on someone like Malachi Starks in the draft, then Chauncey was always going to be the odd man out. The move saves $6 million in 2026 and nearly $14 million in 2027. That's serious cap relief for a team trying to stay competitive year after year. Howie admitted it. This wasn't a popular move, and he gets it. But the core philosophy is simple. Keep the roster from aging out all at once. Avoid the apocalypse of a 20-man turnover in a single offseason. Build through the draft, supplement with depth in free agency, and always keep an eye on the financial horizon. That's the blueprint. And we're already seeing it work. Look at the players coming into their second year. Guys like Quinion Mitchell, Nakobe Dean, Cooper DeJean. Fangio isn't playing favorites. If you earn it in practice, you play. Period. This isn't Jim Schwartz babying Derek Barnett or Nate Jerry. This is a meritocracy. And that's the culture that breeds long-term success.
Let's not forget, after the 2017 Super Bowl win, the Eagles brought everyone back, and we paid the price. Bad drafts, bad cap management, a slow, painful decline. Howie's not making that mistake again. This roster is going to turn over, but it's going to do it on his terms. He's looking at the next core, Jalen Carter, Cam Jurgens, Nolan Smith, and making sure the team has the money to lock those guys down when the time comes. And while fans might not like losing names like Gardner-Johnson or potentially Goedert, the real story here is the plan. The commitment to drafting well, to building the next great Eagles team, not just keeping the current one afloat. And yeah, we did get a bit of good news in all of this. The NFL passed a new uniform rule allowing teams to wear their throwback or alternate jerseys 4 times a year. That means more Kelly green. And let's be honest, something just hits different when the birds are in those classics. The energy, the swagger, the highlights, it's real. And now we'll get 4 doses of that magic every season. So now, it's your turn. Eagle fans, what do you make of all this? Is Howie right to double down on the draft and let go of veterans like Gardner Johnson and maybe Goedert? Or is the front office getting too cold, too calculated for its own good? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. This is your team. Your voice matters. And if you're still watching, it's probably because you're just like me, hooked on every twist and turn this front office takes, even when it hurts. Because let's be honest, moves like trading away Chauncey Gardner-Johnson aren't just business. They hit deep. This guy wasn't just another piece on the chessboard. He was the energy of that defense. The mouth, the attitude, the spark, and now he's gone. And we're all left wondering, who picks that up? But Howie isn't backing down. In fact, he's doubling down on this new model. He's betting that this draft and develop strategy is the key to building a true dynasty, not just one Super Bowl run, but sustained dominance. Think about it. When you consistently hit on your first and second round picks, you're setting the table for years of cap flexibility. These guys are on rookie deals. And if they ball out, great. You extend the ones who deserve it and keep that core young and hungry. And the numbers don't lie. This front office has quietly pulled off one of the best draft streaks in the league. We're talking about multiple contributors from each class, starters, rotational guys, even late-round picks who can make noise. That kind of draft success is rare. It's what separates the good from the elite, and it's why Howie's not chasing splashy free agents this year. We don't need a big name just to get headlines. We need depth. We need future stars. And we need to make sure we're not stuck restructuring bad deals just to get under the cap like we were a few years ago. Let's take a moment to zoom out here. The Eagles aren't just planning for 2024. They're planning for sustained contention. Jalen Hurts isn't going anywhere. You've got foundational pieces like Jalen Carter, DeVonta Smith, and Landon Dickerson under team control. But guess what? Those guys are going to need new deals soon. And if you're still paying veterans top dollar on the back end of their careers, you can't afford to keep the young studs when their time comes. That's why you let someone like Milton Williams walk. That's why Josh Sweat might be the next one to go, especially if he's serious about reuniting with Jonathan Gannon. Let them go get paid somewhere else. Let them enjoy that post-Eagles bag. Because in Philly, we're focused on the next wave. And yeah, it hurts, but it's necessary. Now, look, I know some of you are still clinging to the idea that Dallas Goedert might stay. Maybe he restructures. Maybe the Eagles don't get a trade they like. But the fact that this conversation is even happening tells you everything. If they truly saw him as part of the future, they'd have locked him up by now. But they didn't. They brought in Harrison Bryant. They brought in Kylan Grandson. They're testing options. And come draft night, don't be surprised if another name joins that room. So what do you think, Birds fans? Are you riding with Howie's plan? Are you ready to let go of fan favorites if it means another shot at a Super Bowl, or maybe multiple shots over the next 5 years? Hit the comments. Let me know where your head's at. Because this team, this process, it only works if we all buy in. Fly, Eagles, fly.